I recently got in a conversation with someone who came from a religious situation quite similar to mine when in a broader discussion about the afterlife, or rather, the lack of one. He had been raised in a fundamentalist Christian family with the impression that the realm of hell was a very literally real place of fiery torture for all eternity. I had a similar situation. I grew up believing that the most painful place possible, beyond your wildest imagination, awaited those who were unfortunate enough not to be convinced of Jesus' divinity and saving grace. Towards the end of my belief in Christianity, I started becoming terrified of eternity, not because I feared hell. I was a strong believer and had nothing to fear from the threat of hell, but because eternity in any form seemed to be an immense torture in itself. Imagining standing in glory in paradise with my first love, Christ, walking and talking with me, always being in His presence, it made the hardships I perceived I had as a Christian worth it. But when paired with thinking that I would be enjoying that, while my loved ones who rejected the wonder of the cross were being punished with a pain and torment far worse than the most brutal rape ever committed, redone every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day, of every week, of every month, of every year, of every decade, of every century, of every millennium, of every eon, of every eternity. The very guilt of trying to enjoy what those loving people could never attain was torture itself. I wouldn't be able to bear it. Eventually I came to realize that the punishment Jesus was supposed to have taken was in no way an equal trade for even one person's eternity in hell, and that realization tipped the scale to make me leave Christianity, though at that time I still believed He always existed, but only as one among many gods. I held that belief for a little more than half a year before becoming an atheist, but that's another story for another time. One of the most ridiculous requests involving hell that I hear, specifically from fundamentalist Christians, is to take responsibility for my actions and accept Jesus. It's rhetorically, subtly insulting, pseudo-requests like these that cause resistance between Christians and non-Christians. The very theme of accepting Jesus to bear your sins and take punishment for you is the antithesis of taking responsibility to your actions. If Yahweh were to exist, and in the grand scheme of things, an eternity in hell really were to be an acceptable punishment for whatever cosmic laws we were violating, then the proper way to take responsibility would be to take punishment. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime, as they say. Let's take the popular example of the courtroom. You've just been caught red-handed for murder, and the judge sentences you to be executed. But the judge has favor in you, and offers you a deal that instead he can throw his son in jail in your place, so you can go free. Is that justice? Is that really any kind of mercy if an innocent is punished for a criminal's sake? No. It's backward and lawless. If on the off chance I wake up after dying to the view of judgment, may I have the integrity to accept what I deserve, and not to be one of those that would rather punish an innocent person for their sake.